So welcome back to Obviously Fight Talk, and I'm delighted to say we are joined by the man who we agreed with earlier, Rob, stole the show in Belfast back in February. My phone literally blew up. I said that to you in an interview. So we are joined by Paul Hughes. Paul, thanks for taking the time to come on to Obviously Fight Talk.
No problem at all, lads. It's a pleasure.
We're gonna go in depth here because people, like I said, they seen the big highlight reel. I'm lucky enough I've seen you fight quite a few occasions. Talk to us about the immediate. What was the likes of being asked to do things like this? I'm sure you've done numerous interviews. What's happened for Paul Hughes since that victory?
Man, it has been crazy. Honestly, life has completely changed since then. Like, I've been getting the craziest messages, like people noticing me in the street and things like that. Like 1.6 million views on Facebook on my fan page. It's been surreal. Like, it's everything I've been working for years. It's just came to me now, and it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling, and I'm looking forward to the future now.
And how did BAMMA come about, Paul? Because I know there was an interview you done with Lydia Daedalus back in Clan Wars in December, I think it was. Yeah, and he had said 2017 is going to be a big year. You're going to be saying you were staying an amateur and you were looking. So what happened? What brought the change and the opportunity for BAMMA?
So me and my coach David Patterson, we were trying to get matched for amateur fights. I was obviously training away as I always do. We were looking at fights in Scotland and Ireland, and we couldn't get matched. There was pullouts after pullouts. I was going to move up to lightweight again and take fights there, and still couldn't get anything. And about 2 weeks before BAMMA Belfast, Davey he said to me after training, he was like, "When are you thinking of turning pro, Paul?" And I was like, "Well, it's up to you. Obviously, you make the decisions here." And he goes, "There might be something there for you on BAMMA." And I was like, "Yep, sign me up straight away." Because if Davey asking me, was I ready, or Davey asking me for the fight, I know that he knows that I'm ready. So that gives me great confidence for him asking me that. So it was just sign me up and get me in there. Like, it's nothing new to me. It's just a fight, and the big crowd, I crave in that. That's one thing he mentioned to me. He said, "Look, it's a big stage, it's a big crowd, it's the biggest show in Europe, and are you ready for that?" And I said, "Look, Davey, I thrive in this. Get me in there and I will perform." And I did. Luckily enough.
You certainly did. You sort of alluded to it in your interview with Malcolm in the Cage. You were saying, I'm only 19 years of age, but for the performance you put on and how cool you were walking out in Belfast, were you that cool, or were inside where you absolutely shot with nerves, or because you looked so calm and composed on the walkout till when the bell rang till you were getting your hand raised? You looked like the coolest guy in the stadium.
It's been everything I've been visualizing for years, is that sort of situation. Like, I've been training pretty much like a professional for about 2 years anyway. I'm a student, so I've got a bit of time in my hands. I work part-time in a bar as well, but anytime I'm not at class, like, I'm training. Like, my life is training 2 or 3 times a day since September 2014 or 15. And so I've been training like a professional. I have a mindset of a professional. It's always where I wanted to go. So it really wasn't anything new for me fighting. But when I got out to the crowd and I seen the crowd, it was just a moment of pure clarity, and just, it was one of the most pure feelings I've ever felt. I'd never felt that feeling for an amateur fight, and like, it was just perfect. There was just no way I was gonna get beat in there. Like, I seen the crowd in the cage and the walkway, and I was like, this is just everything I've been working for right now, and live it up. And just, I have all the confidence in the world in my ability. Like, I put in the work for that. So in my eyes, nobody's gonna stop me in that cage, because I do not know what giving up is. Just like my teammate James Merkellian, like, we've been training together for 4 or 5 years, and we just do not know what giving up is, because we just push ourselves to the absolute limits every night. So it was perfect.
And what got you into MMA? Because you haven't been training for that long. Like, looking at the skill that you have, you wouldn't think it's been that short of a time. What actually got you into mixed martial arts?
So I didn't start MMA until I was 15. So I'm only 19 now, so that's only 4.5 years I've been training. But ever since my first beginner class, like I'd always been interested in, I'd always loved watching boxing as I was growing up, and I was always interested in that. But once I had my first MMA class, I was just absolutely hooked. I absolutely loved it. Like, just I'd always played Gaelic and hurling and soccer, and I always thrived on games that were just digging down deep and physical games, and that must be it just must be a personality or something. But like, just being in the, I don't know how to describe it, but really, really pushing yourself to the limit is just, there's something really, really pure about that, and fighting is the ultimate form of that, I guess.
I think one of the words you probably were looking for was intensity, and that was probably how you can describe that fight at BAMMA. What did it feel like being in that fight? When that ended, did you feel like you were in a firefight? What did it feel like once it ended, once you knocked him out?
It was crazy. All I remember is jumping up on top of the cage and just looking out at the arena and feeling like, holy shit, I just done it. Like, the years have paid off, and it was one of my, like, most of my fights, like, I've finished submissions, but I haven't got many TKOs or KOs, so it was something special to do that as well. And the big stage, it looked well.
I was backstage. You weren't there, Rob, because you didn't go to Belfast. But we were backstage, where we were sitting when you seen it when you came in to get interviewed. We had a screen there, and literally everybody in press just stopped, because when you caught Gustav, when you caught him and he went against the cage, and the two of you just, you said to it you were unhappy with it. But me and Rob are watching it, looking at the fight there. We've watched it back, as I'm sure you have too, so I want to get you to talk us through it. You were constantly switching stances from orthodox to southpaw. You were landing it, or attempting, and you did land it on a few occasions. A beautiful step away left hook. As I said to Rob, it was Conor-esque against Aldo, the shot that put Aldo out. You were just sort of stepping off and landing. But you said in the interview you were unhappy and your boxing coach would be giving out to you. But you just went at an absolute firefight. You got him hurt. But to me, it looked like you sort of stood back, got your composure, and then picked the shots even stronger again, and obviously got the finish. But just talk us through, like, with the orthodox to southpaw, this is a big thing, like 19 years of age, training 4 years. How do you look so fluid and so fucking good? Like, it's effortless.
So the reason I done that was TJ Dillashaw's first fight against Henan Barao, the one where he absolutely destroyed him, finished him in the fourth. And I was just like, I need to adapt to this, because this is the new age. So I started working southpaw, and then, so I'm naturally orthodox. And then I started watching McGregor as well. When McGregor was coming up, like his first few fights where he had them. Do you ever watch like the Jack Slack breakdown videos? Yeah. So I would just go southpaw and I'd start implementing them techniques. And then from there, I've just worked on it, and it's become natural, like just hours and hours and hours of practice. But in regards to the fight, I remember saying to you that I wasn't happy, but I hadn't actually watched it back at that stage. But when I watched it back with my boxing coach, I was actually very happy with it. The shot selection was like I know I got into a bit of a brawl in the first exchange because I had just dropped him. So I thought, let's go for the kill straight away. But after I seen he wasn't going down, I had to sort of compose myself. Like, you can see me sort of taking a breath and stepping back and hitting body shots that you would never think of throwing unless you were composing yourself. But it was all, obviously you don't really have a lot of time to think in there, so it's all sort of muscle memory. And that's just, them shots have been shots me and Donald McNally, my boxing coach, have been working for about 2 years now, just constantly, and it showed when the going got tough. Like, just
a couple of the shots I know you landed, and Rob, you said it as well when we were watching the fight back, was the body shots. You were really digging into the body, and that's something that I remember from the fight you had on Clan Wars with Alex Badui that you were doing quite regular. You were landing heavy body shots, almost, cut down the tree, take the body away, and the head will follow, and that sort of tactic. Is that something as well that you work on, that you see as a weakness? Not a lot of guys, not that they don't defend it, but they almost don't expect. Like Keane Cowley, who's a Thai fighter, has huge success with the liver shot as well. Is that something that as a fighter you see as a weakness in most opponents, that big body shot?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. A lot of people don't know how to throw a proper body shot. A lot of people, just like I used to do, would lean in way too far and be off balance and not even have any power in the shot. But as I say, it's been through practice with my boxing coach. It's definitely a shot. It's definitely a good shot to be thrown because people aren't really expecting it. When you're mixing it up to the body, to the head, with the kicks as well, it's you gotta mix it up. Just as I was saying about Dillashaw earlier, that fight against Barao, that was the first time we had really seen it, apart from Cruz. But he was different than Cruz. Cruz wasn't fighting then. It was I think it's the new era really. That's how MMA striking is going. You've got to be good everywhere and be mixing it up everywhere. There's no more. You've got good hands and good wrestling, and that's it. It's just you got to adapt.
Who else do you look at in MMA right now that does different things? Like Dillashaw, I've seen that as well when you're fighting. It's like it's not just switching stances, it's switching stances in combinations, throughout combinations. Who else do you see in MMA right now, like Dillashaw, who's making advancements in striking?
Switch hitting. Max Holloway is very, very good switch hitter where he switch hits into the body shots. So he fakes a shot up top and then takes a step and throws a really strong hook to the body. So I like breaking down his techniques as well, but I think it's the most efficient at the minute, I feel.
Unfortunately, you came away from the fight with an injury. How is the hand?
The hand, I broke the knuckle. So I broke the first knuckle here on my hand. I was at the doctor's. I think it'll be 4 weeks until I'm able to punch again, but that'll obviously be very lightly. But I'm doing absolutely everything I can in the meantime just to stay fit and get the other aspects of fighting, like the social media strategies, business development from there, because this is my future. This is everything I want to do. So you got to look into them aspects as well as fighting, obviously. So I'm taking the positives from it, really. There's no point dwelling in your injury. I don't know if you've watched Dominick Cruz's podcast there with Joe Rogan, where he talks about overcoming his injuries. I took a lot from that, and I've been reading a couple of good books on The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. So I'm taking the positives from it. I'm just going to excel in all the areas that I can for the meantime, and once I get back training, then ready to fight straight away. I'm staying fit.
It's something that a lot of fighters sort of allude to with BAMMA as well. Sometimes it's a one-fight contract and then you see guys get the exclusive. Have BAMMA been in touch with you? Is it looking? I know BAMMA are going to Birmingham, I think, in May or June, and they'll be back to Dublin then as well. Probably too soon with the injury, but have they spoke to you about getting you on a contract with BAMMA, or are you open to offers?
So Jude Samuel came straight up to me after the fight.
Of course he did.
Looking straight away, gave me his card, wanted to talk. But honestly, I don't deal with this here. It's my manager, David Patterson, and coach. But there's been multiple organisations trying to get me. To be honest, I can't put names on that yet. But Davy's having a few meetings this week with a few different organisations. But we'll do what we feel is right for this time, because there's no point. We don't feel there's any point signing straight away for an organisation when there's opportunities there. Like I had people writing to me, looking me to fight in places like Japan. So that's opportunities that I want to be taking. Like I absolutely love to travel, and if I can travel and fight at the same time, then that's just a dream come true for me. So we'll think about signing for a promotion. If we get the right deal, then we'll definitely do it.
One of the things that you told Noel after the fight was that you weren't going to rush things, and you're going to take things slow, and you had things to do before you knuckle down. Was there anything specific that you have to do there? Is there anything there specifically, or is it just you want to kind of take it slowly?
Yeah, there's nothing. Well, I'm still a student. I'm in final year in college, so obviously I've got shit to do there. But my passion isn't fighting, really. That is everything to me. But I want to travel. I'm young, I'm able to travel, so that's what my coach David Patterson always says to me: travel when you're young and able, because you might not be able to when you're older. But I'll travel and train and fight. That's just the lifestyle I want to live. So
there's been a huge explosion here in Ireland, both north and south of the border, with MMA. A couple of the shining lights, unfortunately, were on the losing end in Belfast on the same card. Reece Skeletor McKee tasted defeat for the first time as a professional. Although since it's come out that he wasn't well in the lead up to it, but he didn't want to disappoint fans and stepped in there. You have Dylan Tuke then, notably. You've shared the cage with Dylan. Dylan Tuke lost his last outing for Bellator in Dublin's 3 Arena. Then you have another guy that you've shared the cage with, Richie Smullen. Like, the list is long of you young killer prospects. Them 2 names I've just mentioned, Richie and Tuke, is that something that down the line you'd like to avenge as much as it was on the amateur scene? Would you like to test yourself again against them too?
Yeah, of course. I want them wins back. I want them wins back, to be honest. Like, us guys, we're all sort of that level now where we will be fighting each other, or them possibilities will be there. And look, I'm not in this game to fuck about. I am here to get to the top, and I've been sacrificing and dedicating my life to this for years. So if the opportunity's there and I have to fight them guys, then let's do it, because we all wanted to get to the top. So we're gonna have to get there. We're gonna have to fight. Do you know what I mean? But there's plenty of other guys to fight as well. There's plenty of other people on my mind, but I would definitely like them ones back. Definitely.
Something I always do, it's weird, I don't know why I do it, but I do it. What was the first thing that got you into fighting? We're talking about you love the intensity in like a hard GAA game or a hurling match that you like to dig deep. But what was it that first, like, a lot of guys, now you're a lot younger than me, a lot of guys would say the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was what started them, or Jean-Claude Van Damme. But what was it for you that made your eyes light and go, yeah, I'd love to do that?
I don't know. As I was saying, I was always into my boxing, so I always loved the Rocky movies, as everyone did. Like, but it was actually a friend of mine's brother had been training, and he had some mats in the garage, and he showed us some techniques, and I was like, you can actually, like, I need to be able to defend myself. Someone can do this to me. So, like, we would grapple, and he would just choke me out, or he would get me a submission, and I'd be like, I gotta be able to defend myself. Like, what happens if somebody attacks me or somebody attacks my family? You gotta know how to defend yourself. So when the opportunity arises, so I thought, let's get into this. And then once I started sparring and like finding out the intensity of it, it's an addiction, really.
And another one to make me feel old. What was your first experience of the UFC? What was the first fight you remember watching?
First fight, first main. I'm not sure about the first fight I ever watched, but the first fight that I really get into and really was interested in was Anderson Silva at Chael Sonnen 2. So I had never knew anything about the sport before that, but once the whole build-up and hype, I became a big Chael Sonnen fan and watched the whole build-up to that, and that was probably my first one I can remind anyway.
I'm guessing Dillashaw is someone that you look up to. You've mentioned him a few times there. So I won't ask who's the guy you look up to. Fighter song. What fight song is your dream fight song to walk out to?
Well, I've been walking out to Kendrick Lamar Mad City for years. That's sort of my thing at the minute. Everyone sort of knows me for that because it's different, and I like the beat drop in it. So that's why you probably see me jumping into the cage, rapping away. But I just don't give a fuck. Like, I love that shit.
Any weird superstitions before backstage coming out? Do you do certain things? Do you put on your left glove first? That and like, is there?
No, superstition is weakness.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Listen, it was great to get to chat to you and meet the man behind the fight of the night, the highlight of the night for a lot of people. You certainly put your name out there with that display. Like I said, I've seen you. I've commentated on your fights, probably terribly, but I have commented on your fights. I've called you to the cage many a time, and I can't wait to see you step back in there again. So hopefully the hand heals up. Thanks for taking the time. And
thank you very much. It was an absolute pleasure. I'd love to come on again.
The first of many. Give us your shout outs there, your handles, and where can people find you? So my Facebook like page is Paul Hughes MMA. Instagram and Twitter is just at Paul Hughes MMA.
Excellent.
Listen, Paul, you're a star.
Hit me up.
Have a good evening and turn on the United game and watch United crush Chelsea.
You too, lads. Thank you very much.
Take care, Paul.